America, my name is Osei-Frimpong. I come to you live every Monday and Thursday. I'm going to do a special show today because I wanted to talk about ball watching, especially in soccer, but I suspect it goes with basketball and many ball sports, and including other aspects of life. So what is ball watching? Ball watching is when you're on the field paying attention to the ball. So you feel like you're playing, but you're not really playing because you're not trying to really get the ball and you're not trying to cut off lanes. And there are going to be two types of lanes you want to cut off. You want to cut off passing lanes, and you want to cut off the lane between the person with the ball and the receiver, right? So if you're ball watching, you're watching the ball. You could even be fixated on the ball, but still not actually participating in the game in a meaningful way because you're not trying to get the ball and you're not trying to cut off the lane between the person with the ball and the person that person wants to pass to, or the goal, right? So even if you stay between the person with the ball and the goal, you could still be ball watching, and you feel like you're playing because you were taught to stay between the person with the ball and the goal. Except everybody else is moving and creating passing lanes and options for that person. So the person with the ball is going to end up passing around you, and then the person the person with the ball passes to now has an open shot, all because you were fixated on the ball and you just kind of watch it happen. And you might even tell yourself that it's not your fault because you were doing what you were supposed to do, staying between the person with the ball and the goal. But you have two jobs. And this is why you constantly have to be moving. You have to stay between the person with the ball and the goal, and always be willing and ready to cut off passing lanes. So if you are staying in one place, but everybody around you is moving, you cannot be doing your job. Because even if you're staying in the place between the person and the goal, you are not cutting off passing lanes. So here's what you have to do, and teach your students or your kids or whatever. One, you have to teach them that they have two responsibilities. If they don't have the ball, go get the ball, cut off lanes, and then teach them that there are two types of lanes. There's the lane between the ball and the goal, and there's the lane between the ball and other options that the opponent has. And you have to always be looking to cut off those lanes. Close distance, cut off the lanes. Close the distance to get the ball, and do it in a way that cuts off the lanes between the ball and the goal, and the ball and other people passing. Okay? That's very important, and that's going to be the difference between ball watching and participating in the game in a meaningful way. You want to come say hi to the people? Yeah. All right, come say hi to the people. But hurry up, I gotta finish. Oh, yeah.
You're talking about ball watching.
I am talking about ball watching. So let me finish this up, and then I'll come and see you.
I gave Baird a worksheet for...
Very good. Good job. This is my 8-year-old Graham. Hello. All right. Let me finish the show, and I'll be right with you, okay?
I love you, Daddy.
I love you, too. All right. So ball watching feels like playing. And you could be doing what you're supposed to do in theory, which is stay between the ball and the goal. But since you're not cutting off passing lanes, you're not really actually playing in a meaningful way. They'll just pass the ball around you. Now, the problem with not cutting off these passing lanes, the problem with cutting off passing lanes is you actually have to be paying attention to where the other people are on the field. And this is an awareness you have to teach. You have to teach them to kind of look around, pay attention, keep pictures in their head. All of these are learned skills. They could be picked up in pretty much, I suspect, most ball sports, but they have to be picked up. They have to be picked up. And when you're only paying attention to the goal, it seems easier, and you seem like you're in it, and you're doing what you're supposed to do in a way, and it's easy because the goal doesn't move as much. But you still feel like you're aware because you're aware of where the goal is. That's not enough. You need to be aware of where the goal is and where all of the other opponents are, so you can cut off passing lanes. So cutting off the lane between the ball holder and the goal is one aspect, but it's only like 25% of the job. You have to always be cutting off passing lanes too. And that means you need to be aware of the receivers. And this is where it opens up to a different awareness, which means that when a receiver goes, when one of the opponents goes away from you, you have to assign that receiver to somebody else. You have to say, I got 4, you get 5. I always start with your responsibility, then the other person's responsibility, so it just doesn't look like you're barking orders. All right. So if you need help, you say, I got blank, you get blank. And you get yourself into that habit. You have to always be marking your man. You have to pay attention to the person you're supposed to be marking, the passing lane you're supposed to be stopping, as well as the line between the ball and the goal. Okay? And if you can't do your responsibility and cut off the passing lane between the person you're kind of responsible for and the ball, then you have to assign that responsibility to someone else. Because if you're playing with good people, they are going to know that there's an extra person, and they're going to be very unclear about their responsibility, and they're going to feel like they have to take care of their work and your work, right? So if you're ball watching, someone else, if you're playing on a good team, especially if you're playing on a good team, someone else is picking up your slack and quietly resenting you. You do not want to be the person who's resented, right? Also, if you're staying in one place and everybody else is running around, you are probably ball watching because you can't be cutting off the passing lanes if other people are moving and creating different passing lanes and you've just cut off the goal, right? So if you're a student watching this, that's fine. If you're a parent, this is for parents and coaches watching this, go ahead, figure out a way to explain this to your young soccer player or ball sport player. There are going to be two goals: stay between the ball and the goal, and also cut off the passing lane. All right. So you have to, I describe it as you have to block up two lanes, block up the lane between the ball and the goal, and blocking the passing lanes. And the passing lanes are always changing, even if the lane between the ball and the goal doesn't. So you should always be moving and calculating about how many passing lanes you're blocking and which passing lane is open, and how you're going to assign responsibility for somebody else to clog that lane. Or how can you help clog that passing lane? If you're not doing any of that, you're not really playing. You're just kind of ball watching. But these are skills that are taught. These are skills that are taught. And they feel like they're playing because they're really fixated on the ball and they're actually paying attention in a way. But they're not real. If they're not clogging up lanes and not thinking in those terms, they're not doing what they ought to do. And remember, two types of lanes: lane between the ball and the goal, and passing lanes. And they have to be thinking of stopping both of them at the same time and how to coordinate that with everyone else on the field. And, there's a political analog to ball watching, which is like when you're really attentive to, political life or social life, but you're not actually doing anything to clog up the lanes. But that's going to be fodder for a different video. Thank you for your time. I hope this has been helpful. This has been a kind of different video, but for the people who need it, they're going to need it. And I'll see you Monday and Wednesday.